race.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Will Motivation, back with another video, and today I am super excited and happy because I am going to review my new 2018 Porsche 911 GT3 Manual.
Motivation.
That's right.
Welcome to Will Motivation.
Holla. Welcome back to Will Motivation. Now let's go ahead and get into the review of my Porsche 911 GT3. Yeah, so I'm really excited because it's a really nice day out here and I get to drive this car, which is like my favorite thing so far in the ownership experience, is driving this car, which is exactly what I had hoped for. But I want to start with quickly, who am I? My name is Will Motivation. This is my channel. I like to share the experience of owning, driving, and earning supercars. So I share a little bit about how I'm able to afford some of the cars I have on Porsche 911 GT3. I have a Hellcat, I have an Audi S3 just took delivery of, and my pride and joy, which is my Lamborghini Huracan 610-4. But enough of that, let's go ahead and get into the review of this new Porsche 911 GT3. If you saw my previous review, I had a Porsche 911 GT3 PDK 2015. This is a 2018 and it's a manual. So what I like to do in my reviews is start out with an exterior shot, walk around the exterior and talk about some of the things that I like or might not like about the car. Then we'll kind of get into the interior and the options. But man, on a Porsche, you can spec the car exactly how you want it. This particular spec, I bought this car used, so I didn't spec it personally, but I searched and searched until I found this spec, and it has just about everything that I would want except for comfort seats, which we'll talk about later. But let's walk around the car so you can see it. The 911, you can identify the 911 GT3 by the rear wing. It's the only 911 that comes with that rear wing. There is a version called the touring version of the GT3 that comes without the wing. Now, as far as the styling and my review of the styling, I'm gonna say I like the exterior slightly better on the 991-1. This is a 991-2. The front end is slightly different. A lot of people like this one better because it has the scoops on the side, and the LED daytime running lights are slightly different. I happen to like the older one a little bit better, but I'm happy with this one as well. The color on this GT3 is called Guards Red. It's a really popular classic Porsche color. One of the options that I have on this car are gloss black wheels, which I love. Most people get their black wheels in matte or satin finish. Another option on the car is to have the mirror supports in satin black. Now, I've done a couple of things to the exterior if you haven't noticed. One of the things I recently did is I wrapped the door handles black, gloss black, and I wrapped the roof gloss black. So you can see it there. I like how it looks. Just a personal preference. One of the cool things I like is how the wing tips on the rear wing are satin black. The air scoops feeding air into this rear engine have the satin black covers. I also tinted the windows, so it's got 35% tint on it, as you can see. I think it makes the car look a little sexier. Another thing you'll notice is on the wheels there's a red pinstripe. You may or may not like that. It has red brakes, which means the red brakes means you have steel brakes, which are a lot cheaper to maintain than your carbon ceramics. But if somebody has yellow brakes, that means they have carbon ceramics. All right, so what else have I done to this car? I actually have an aftermarket MRBP exhaust, or MBRP exhaust. I always forget the acronym, but it's an aftermarket exhaust. I'll start it up so you guys can hear it, because one of my favorite things about this car is the sound. So we'll get all into that. But another thing I like about the exterior is this black spoiler. on the skirt on the car. Normally, the skirt here is black as well. From there to, you know, that skirt right there is normally black, but the person that spec'd this car out wanted it matched to the body, which I would not have done. I actually like the black, so that's something that they did that I would not have done, but I'm okay with it. It looks good. So that's the exterior. Let me show you guys what the front trunk looks like. So if you're not familiar with the Porsche 911 GT3, we have what is called a front trunk. There you go. The remote will nicely open that up for you. There's a little lever right there. And here's the front trunk. You got about enough room for 2 carry-on bags in this front trunk area. They were nice enough to give me an electric trickle charger. There's a release to let the trunk open up, and then there's some of your fluids. You got your washer fluid there. You have your I always forget what that is. I don't know if it's a brake or transmission, but I'll put it in the description because everybody's going to get on me for forgetting because I forgot the last time. So that's pretty much all there is to it in the front trunk. We have your washers for your headlights right here, painted to match the body color of the car. That's an option because normally this is silver or black. Also, we have your advanced lighting, which is directional lighting. So when you turn the wheel, the lighting shifts to give you more light at nighttime going into a turn. That's an option. And let's open up the engine compartment so you can see or not see what's there available. So to open up the engine bay, it's right here. Pretty straightforward. So there's a little prop that holds the engine bay open. You've got your fans for the engine, air intakes, you got your oil and your coolant right there. Carbon fiber, so it makes it kind of look like something. I need to clean mine up a little bit, but you can't really see anything other than that when you open up the engine bay, unfortunately, but it's a Porsche thing, and well, it's still kind of cool. All right, so let's check out the inside of the car. One thing that's missing from this high-end car is you don't have touch to open or touch to lock and unlock in the door handles. So I had to unlock it with the remote, which is kind of old school. But let's look at the interior. So in the interior, like I said, this is spec'd how I would have spec'd it. A lot of times you can get this brushed aluminum accent all in carbon fiber. So my last GT3 had that in carbon fiber, but this one had brushed aluminum, and I happen to like this because I have it in my Audi, and I always get the brushed aluminum. I just like it. But also what you have here is your red stitching inside the doors. You have Alcantara inserts, Alcantara, your Bose stereo system, and then you either love these seats or you hate them. These are the carbon fiber lightweight bucket seats. They are made, that's right, they're made of carbon fiber. They look really good, but good luck trying to get in and out of those seats. So if you want to see the interior, this is what the interior looks like. Your cup holders. Believe it or not, a lot of exotics and high-end sports cars don't have cup holders nowadays. So Porsche made sure to get cup holders. Now the thing that makes them a little bit not so functional is look where they are. So if you spill something, it's going to be a bad area to spill something if you got a drink in here. You might have your coffee in there and try to do some drifting, and then your coffee goes all over your console. Now what else we have? So we've got leather trim on the dash. We got the red, Guards red, Sport Chrono is what they call that. And I'll get in the driver's side so you can see the console area, and we'll go over the console area briefly. But let's look in the back. It's kind of hard to get to. All right, so technically this is not a seating area. It's shaped like a seating area for the regular 911, but it's technically in a GT3. It's not a seat. Now you probably could get back there in an emergency and sit back there, but there's no seat belts, so you'd have to be really careful if you did that. Now it's a good area to store stuff, though. I'll give it that. And it looks okay. It's like, not anything. But look how far I had to slide these bucket seats up because they don't recline. So that's like something I don't like about this. These seats are really the most impractical thing. They don't recline forward or backward. So you just got to slide it up and then hope you can get back there or throw your stuff back there. All right, getting into the driver's side of the car. Now, one of the most challenging things about this car is getting in and out of the car. Like, that's probably the biggest con of owning a GT3 with these particular seats. Now you can spec a GT3 without these seats, but when you go to resale, everybody wants these racing lightweight bucket seats because they're supposed to supposedly make the car a lot lighter for when you go to the track. But yeah, I don't really like them because they're a little bit impractical. But anyway, you got to create a method to get in the car, and you fall into the car and then you wiggle into place. All right, so now let's look at the interior. I'm going to go ahead and fire the car up. This is how you start the car. The key is shaped sort of like a Porsche, which is kind of cool. And you put the key in on the left hand side. Put your foot on the clutch. Start it up. All right, so got the car started. Let me show you the gauges. Turn the lights on. Here we go. So you've got your oil gauge, temperature gauge, speedometer, odometer, your tachometer. You've got GPS. You've got gas gauge. You got your temperature. This is water temperature and that's oil temperature over there. All right, so one thing I like about the 991.2 interior is a little bit better than the 991.1, which is the first generation of Porsche 911 GT3s and 911s. They cleaned the whole center section up. So like I said, this is a manual. You have here your sport button, which changes your upshifts and downshifts to rev match. I don't really use that. I like to feel the car and control the rev matching with my foot. You've got your sport suspension. You got your stability control on and off. You got to hold that down if you want to turn that off. You got your stability control plus traction control off. You got to hold that down. You've got your exhaust. Open the valves up. You got your front end lift. This locks and unlocks doors. This is your emergency lighting. So there you have it. These are your standard controls, navigation. One thing that's different about the 991.2, which is the 2017, 2018 on up, is throwing in reverse, and now you got a reverse camera. The 991.1 GT3, which is what I had before, I didn't have a reverse camera, and that was a problem for me because you're constantly backing this thing up into the garage, or let's say you go to a car show and everybody's looking at you and there's some exotic cars on the left and the right. You want to have as many safety factors, and considering the expense of this car, you want to have as many safety factors as possible to protect you from hitting anything or even coming close to hitting anything. And I wanted a rear view camera, and so this car has it. So that's a plus of this latest generation. So if you're wondering and you're thinking about getting a Porsche 911 GT3, this is one of the things that comes with the 991.2 which started in 2017 and 2018. I don't know, I think overseas in Europe they got the 2017 models, but in the United States I believe we didn't start getting them until 2018 and 2019, as far as I can tell. Now the 991.1 started in 2014 and went up to 2017, so that will help clarify. Now the 991.1 is significantly cheaper than the 991.2. So if you're trying to save a little bit of money, which is what I was trying to do when I got my 991.1, that might be the way to go. All right, so now that you've kind of seen an overview of the interior, let's do the fun part and take this car for a drive. Now, is there anything else you guys might want to know? One of the things is this car, which is important to me in this interior, is that you have the garage home link, so you can actually program the garage door openers. And for some of you guys who are thinking this is a sports car, why do you want or need all that stuff? But for me, I put this car in my garage and I paid a lot of money for this car, so why not throw in those extra little convenience features because of how much money this car costs? All right, so it's not always about driving the car, the sports car, taking it to the track and stuff, but this car is so fun to drive. Like, I'll take this car to go get groceries. So I think about those kind of things. All right, so anyway, I'm trying to think if there's anything else you guys might want to know about this interior, man. These carbon bucket seats, they look nice, but so far this is the biggest con. They're uncomfortable, they don't recline. If you notice my posture, I'm a little bit curled over. I'm 6'2". This car has plenty of headroom, so I would say 6'2" to 6'6", you're probably good to go. If you're beyond 6'6", you might have a little bit of headroom issues, but I think up to 6'6" or 6'7", you're probably good. What else about the interior of this car that you guys might want to know? Drop me a comment if you have any questions. But other than that, I think the most important thing is let's check out how this car drives.
Perfect.
All right, so let's take this thing for a drive. Taking the electronic emergency brake off, and let's roll. So I got the front end lift, but I usually don't scrape coming off of my driveway. Now, for me, what I like most about the GT3 is driving this thing. To me, if I took the looks of this car on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say looks are probably a 8.5 for the 911. My Lamborghini Huracan, in my opinion, is pretty much a 10. I think that's the best looking car ever made. A lot of people will argue with that, but that's fine. It's just my opinion. But we're talking about this 911 GT3. Now, first impressions about driving this car, we're going to talk about how comfortable the car is. Now, for me, getting in this car, it's a challenge, man. These carbon fiber bucket seats, they don't recline. I feel like I need to be reclined back quite a bit. Let me see if I can put my head back, turning my hat around. All right, that's a little bit better. All right, so I'm going to do a spirited takeoff. I'm gonna roll the windows down so you can hear what it sounds like, and we're gonna take off. All right, here we go. Yeah, car has plenty of power. Yeah, so suspension being too rough. It is a sports car after all, but for me, this suspension is not rough at all. It's comparable to just about any other sports car that I have, or even non-sports car. The car suspension is comfortable to me. It's not cushy or soft or anything like that, but it's comfortable. It's perfectly fine. I have zero complaints about the suspension and the comfort. The only comfort complaint I have exhaust open up. Exhaust opens up around 4,000 RPM. The only complaint I have about comfort are these seats. You hear me say it time and time again, but that's pretty much the only major complaint that I have is, and really, I could have always tried to find a car that didn't have these seats, or I can swap these seats out, which is probably what I am going to do. But to have some good Porsche seats in here that are comfortable, they're expensive. Like, for example, to get the 4-way comfortable seats in this car, those seats cost around $5,000 used, maybe $6,000. So, you know, that's something to think about. And I want to make sure I'm going to keep this car long enough to enjoy that kind of a expense, or justify that kind of an expense. So now let's talk about some of the good things about this vehicle, man. It's the fun factor is the number one thing that I appreciate about this car. Is when I'm getting in this car, I'm looking forward to have fun driving it. So that was fifth gear to second gear. Now we got, I think, a straightaway in front of us here, and hopefully no police. So I'll give you guys a pull from a stop, no traction control. Let's see how much traction we have. There's any doubt about this car not having enough power for you, you can pretty much squash that. This car has plenty of power. That's not going to be the issue. If anything, you might want a little bit more power, but you really don't need it. You don't buy this car just to go fast in a straight line. You want this car to go fast in pretty much every scenario, including corners, tracks, if you're on the track. And just having acceleration when you need it for passing or whatever, you know, whatever the situation calls for. So yeah, let's just enjoy driving this thing. I'm gonna try to turn off here where nobody will be in front of me. Things about driving this car is that it's confidence inspiring. So what that means is basically it could be a good thing and a bad thing. You get confident driving this car because you feel like you're in control. You feel like the car is predictable. It's not going to do anything wild or crazy and catch you off guard. So you can push the car harder and harder. But if you're not an experienced driver, you're not familiar with the car, that could come back to bite you. I haven't had any close encounters, however, with this car. Even when I've tried to break the car loose, the car just, if it gets loose, it just, as soon as you let off the gas a little bit, it comes right back, it snaps back into place, which is sort of new for me. steel brakes, they squeak a lot, which is not very common in a new car. But understanding what brakes do, they might make noise, doesn't bother me. But a lot of people, if they hear the brake squeak, they think it's a major problem, and that might bother them. But for me, it doesn't bother me at all.
Wanna race?
Let's race. He said, yo, I'm like, who is this? So I wanted to finish this video up reviewing my Porsche 911 GT3, and I bumped into the man himself.
Yo, what's up?
Say what's up to Sean.
What's up, YouTube?
And you got the sweatshirt matching the car.
Look at that.
So what do you think about it?
Check this out. Check this
What
out.
you think about it?
Man, I love it.
You like it?
Yeah, I love it. I love the color. I love the way it sounds.
What about the styling compared to the Lambo?
You know, it's more, I think it's more like street, kind of like, you know, more like street racing in a sense, more racetrack or whatever you call it.
What you prefer though? Styling. Is it really that hard?
I like the Huracan, man. I mean, that's just what
There
it
it
is. This is I just,
What about you? Which one you like better?
Porsche.
Oh, you like the Porsche better? Okay. That's cool, man. So, yeah, I would say, you know, overall, pros on this vehicle are just driving it. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain what it is about driving this car. The accuracy of the car. It's not the fastest accelerating car, but it's probably one of the best cornering cars. It's rear wheel drive, so you can have fun with it, you know, swinging the tail around here and there.
still a head turner.
It's a head turner still. You know, it's got a spec on it. One of the things I'm gonna say I really like about it that I'm not gonna understate is the fact that you can buy and drive one of these. As long as you don't put too many miles on it, you can buy one and drive one for a while and then sell it for about what you pay for it, as long as you get a decent spec. And this car definitely has a very nice spec on it. Drop me a comment if you agree or disagree. All right, so there it is, man. If I had to give this a Wheel Motivation review score on a scale of 10, I would give this car a 9.3. Now if it had the right seats in it and it was a tad bit faster, maybe it would raise a little bit, but I couldn't give it a 10 because right. Supercharge it. I couldn't give it a 10 though, because for me there's cars that look better than the Porsche. Porsches, like, that's one of the downsides. They kind of all sort of look the same. So, you know, like, if you like the look, it's good, but it's a 911 to the average person with a wing on it. They don't know that it's something special like a GT3. But other than that, man, this is a really, really nice car. If you're thinking about getting a Porsche 911 GT3, I would say go for it. You don't, especially if you get a used one, you don't have much to lose because they hold their value pretty good. So there it is, Wheel Motivation review of the 911 GT3. I give it a 9.3. See you guys in the next video. We'll have some more fun with the Porsche GT3. We'll have some more fun with the Lamborghini Huracan and modding the car and all that good stuff. All right, so check it out. Stay tuned. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And see you guys in the next video. Peace. Hey, I just wanted to say thanks for watching today's video. There's a lot more to come. Hit that like button for me and subscribe to my channel. A lot of you guys have been asking me about when is my online course going to be ready. Well, I have good news for you. My online course is completed. I'll put a link in the description of this video where you can click on that link and get a 40% discount off the course. That'll be for the first 50 students. So if you're ready to take the online course that I've basically laid out everything that I know about how to invest in real estate, click the link below or just go to www.willmotivation.com/invest. And thank you guys for taking the time out to watch today's video. Hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.